Your partner doesn't doubt your intentions when you go out with friends, doesn't snoop around checking your phone or other things that are personal to you and invading your privacy, or just demand that you be there for them every single time. Life can get really serious, and just one laugh can flip the switch into a nice moment. Welcome to the Us Obsessed show, where we share stories, deep life experiences, and turning points to wake humanity up to the truth of who they are. Hello, my wonderful YouTube family. Welcome back to yet another episode of my Soulful Reflections. And this time it's from a different space. Yeah, it's from my very own room back at my parents' house. So I've come to meet them, and it's a very special topic that I'm going to dive deep into, because my whole growth, self-development in an imploration journey started from this very room in back home. So I thought, why not shoot a quick episode on the powerful and potent lesson that ending my toxic arranged marriage taught me. To be honest with you, it's so much in sync, because my last episode was all about the signs of a toxic relationship. If you haven't watched it, go ahead and watch it. But it's funny how I got guided to literally make this video for you guys about this very crucial lesson that I learned from letting go of a toxic relationship in my life, which I didn't even know. And wherever I stand today is because of that dark moment of my soul. So in 2018, I got married. It was an arranged marriage. Culturally, I'm from India and I'm very much Indian. And in our culture, it's love marriage and arranged marriages. I didn't even know the country I live in now, Australia. There's only love marriages. There are no arranged marriages. But from the Asian subcontinent, a lot of us know what an arranged marriage is all about. So, of course, I was an independent working woman, calling the shots, doing everything but a perfect daughter as well. And when my age started ticking upwards and I started growing older, of course, the question of a marriage came, and I didn't have anyone. And long story short, I got a proposal. We had a courtship of 9 months, and then we got married. And back then, I definitely find myself naive. I didn't have much maturity, and even though I thought I did, but I got into that marriage, and it ended in exactly 19 days. Yes, you heard it right. In 19 days, I got out of that marriage. That marriage not just drained me emotionally, but physically and spiritually as well. And I came back home on a wheelchair, completely dejected and lost. Now, to give you just a bit of a feeler, this was a typical marriage where I just didn't see the lies and the deceptions and the facade that people played. Because living outside India for all my life, genuinely, like I said, it was my naivety to take everyone on face value. And again, I'm not judging anyone, but people come with their own perceptions, their own thought processes, and their own beliefs, and they can get selfish, right? But not dwelling too much into that, because I've forgiven all of them. And that was a part of my life that brought me to this moment that I'm standing in front of you, recording this and telling you that I quantum leaped. I just leaped in my growth after being slapped by universe God to wake me up to my true potential. So as I said, I came back on a wheelchair, and the look at my parents' face when they saw how I was back over there and called me to them. I was diagnosed with 5 different illnesses, completely destroyed internally and externally. And that was the phase of my life that I realized that, oh my God, this is what the bottom feels like. I was at a point where I didn't even know what happened to me. I was such a strong girl, such an independent girl, and I thought I had all the power. But this one relationship just shook me and showed me that I still had things within myself where I was looking at what the society would tell. I still remember on the 15th day, my mom saw me and she's like, "Oh my God, you look horrendous. What has happened to you?" And I'm like, "I'm feeling sick." And of course, my husband didn't take me, my husband back then didn't take me to the hospital. And she's just like, "You're coming here. We're gonna get this sorted." And my mom could see the red flags back then. But I was thinking about, no, I should give this marriage a little bit of chance, and no, it must be something else, or no, okay, let me wait till 6 months. Guys, with a progressive mindset like mine at that time, I thought that no, let me give some chance, let me go into that savior mode and be like, no, what will society tell? My mom and dad spent so much money for the wedding. It just was a space of like, no, I can't do this. But thankfully, with the support of my parents, I came back, and with their unconditional love, I got back into my senses. 1 month down the line, with almost about 16 pills a day, I was recovering, but at a very slow speed. And emotionally, I was triggered, I was angry, I wanted revenge from my husband because I had not done anything wrong to them and their family. But why did this happen to me? Why did this happen to me? And I kept on asking this to God, to the universe, time and again. And I'm pretty sure you guys can relate to this, because if you're watching this, you would have had that very painful moment till now in your life where you're like, why did this happen to me? I'm a good person, I've done good, but what is this? What have I done? I've learned everything. But then there was a voice inside me that told me, why are you dejected? Why are you in the victimhood that you were when you left your ex husband and left the place that you were living and came back to your parents? You have the power to shift yourself, you have the power to reclaim yourself. And I'm like, when you're sitting and you just get like a whisper, and they're intertwined with like goosebumps. I thought to myself, and I sat, because of course I didn't have much energy back then. I mean, I'd lost almost like 5k kilos, and when you come back on a wheelchair, you're not really physically equipped, and it takes some time for the body to recover. That was the time when I chose, by listening to that voice, that I'm going to do something about it. And my trajectory shifted towards first working on myself physically, on my health first. I started researching, looking at courses, investing in myself, investing in courses that help you naturally heal your body, which then led me to think properly because my body was functioning properly. And then I thought, okay, I'm emotionally and mentally also drained. What can I do? And that's when I went into hypnotherapy, meditation, yoga, all of that bit. And finally ended up being a holistic health coach because I thought I had my pain story to share, but I don't want people to go through what I've gone through. And I can help them by just sharing my story, my heartache, so that they can wake up and see where in their lives do they need to work on. So I went into energy healing, and now I am both a holistic health coach and an energy healer, an ardent learner, and also a teacher to many, purely because I think collectively we all have some of the other gifts that we can give each other to uplevel ourselves. So, in this whole self development journey of mine, working on my physical body, mental body, there came a point where I saw the place of how dejected I felt with emotions. I was losing the essence of love, which brings me to this very important lesson that my toxic arranged marriage taught me: self love. How much did I love myself in this whole process? And what do I now feel about love? And Where do I want to take my future relationships towards? So when I went through this whole self-reflection post my divorce, which almost took like 15 to 16 months, I had actually lost trust in love. And you guys can feel it, right? Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of you have had breakups. And what do you feel? You feel like you literally lose trust in the word love because you'd given it all. And suddenly it's like a huge slap in your face. And you're like, what did I do to deserve this? I have loved the person. Why did it end like this? That right now my heart is just broken and I cannot even feel the pain because I'm numbing myself from that pain. It goes to such an extent, right? It's that painful. So, as every growth journey dictates, you start digging and investigating. And that's what I did. Like, I literally took some time out to self reflect. And I actually also wanted to figure out what went wrong in that relationship. I wasn't going to blame everything on someone else because I knew that I had to take responsibility of everything that I had done because this was a clear lesson for me to learn from the universe, from God, from whoever, right? So I started digging deep and I found out there were two very powerful questions that I really needed answers to. Number one, did I hold self love for myself? And number two, who am I being in any healthy relationship? It could be my co workers, my parents, my loved ones, my friends, whoever it is. How am I showing up? And these two are very powerful questions. I'm going to give you 9 signs to really see whether someone is truly good for you or not. And don't worry, I've got my book over here. So, first, tackling the question of self love. I have a whole playlist on that, but loving yourself is crucial. Which brings me to the second question: how do you want to show up in that relationship? And here are my top 9 signs to see whether someone is good for you and whether you're good for yourself. And wait till the end because I'm going to give you a strategy to bring this all together and see how you can implement this in your life. All right? So, sign number 1, you feel at peace with them. You know, when you're with your partner, you're supposed to feel calm and relaxed. You're supposed to have an open space where you can talk about your emotions and you can really be raw and vulnerable. You know, your deepest desires, those emotions that you feel on a day to day basis, you can just so freely share with them. And that is that relationship that will really hold the test of time. You know, when you're in this relationship, and it can be your partner or any other relationship, but where you can just be so candid, so honest about whatever you feel about your life, about yourself, about the relationship, about what probably happened during that day, and see that that person is holding that space to just hear you without any judgments, calmly and in a relaxed manner. You know that that relationship is for you because now you have an open playground to play with positive emotions as well as those negative stressed emotions that we have during our days. I mean, if you were in an office and you know there was some politics going on and you come back home and you see your partner just standing there looking at you, feeling you and being like, "Are you okay?" And then you start venting out. You know that you have someone who has your back and you feel at peace with them. Sign number 2, which is trusting each other. You all have heard that trust is that glue that holds relationship, right? And if you don't have trust in your relationships, you know that you've built your love villa on a foundation that is really cracked. And how do you know whether the person trusts you or not? is when they let you be free in whatever you do. Your partner doesn't doubt your intentions when you go out with friends, doesn't snoop around checking your phone or other things that are personal to you and invading your privacy, or just demand that you be there for them every single time. No, they have this trust within themselves that no matter what, you're there for them, you love them, and that you're doing things for the benefit of the relationship. That is when you know that there is a solid foundation, that solid wall of trust in that relationship. And once again, that relationship, whatever life throws at you guys, will stand that hurdle or challenge without breaking down. Which brings me to sign number 3. You laugh together. Oh my god, people don't even realize how important this is, that you laugh with each other. Life can get really serious, and just one laugh can flip the switch into a nice moment and a joyful moment, right? And for me, in every relationship of mine, and I've seen those that have lasted for like 10 to 12 years also, we laugh together. We do silly things. It may be your partner, friend, whatever, but we do silly things, pull each other's legs, and sometimes, just send memes on Insta that we can laugh. Those insider jokes that we can laugh with each other. And that is the beauty, spice, and essence that you get into that relationship. So don't forget, with all that seriousness and all these other things that are important, you need to be able to laugh with each other. Because let me tell you, laughter brings you closer. I mean, you would have seen, and by now you would have thought of a relationship already that is just so dull and gloomy because you guys have forgotten to laugh. Guys, don't take life that seriously. Which brings me to sign number 4. You are yourself. Authenticity. You are yourself. The silly you, the serious you, the happy you, the crazy you, all of you. You don't need to pretend, and you can just let your guard down and just be yourself. You don't need to think too much that, oh, I need to be prim and proper, I need to talk in a certain way, namaste, how are you, etc., etc. No, you can just be like, hi, can we just chill for tonight? Isn't that like a huge sigh when you can just come and be with that person and know that they'll just take on anything you do? But with love and respect, of course, right? You have no judgment, no worries that the person will probably taunt you or give you a snarky remark as to why you behaving this way, because you're just being open, right? And you're just being yourself. And we have different moods during different days, but that person knows you're feeling a bit moody or you're feeling whatever, but they honor it because they honor you and love you. Which brings me to point number 5, which I've already covered, but it's super duper important: open communication. So we all know communication is super important and it has to be open and honest. But the one thing that I really see people not diving into, even when they openly communicate, is boundaries, expectations. Because they feel like, oh my God, if I tell them everything of mine, then they might judge me. And this just unnecessarily creates disharmony in a relationship. How can you openly communicate what are the things that really matter to you in life? What can you compromise in life with? What are your expectations? You're able to express your views clearly in a very frank manner. That's when you know you have open communications. Because you could tell, yeah, I feel that, I feel this and that and that. But go deeper, guys. Go deeper in your relationship where you talk about your limiting beliefs. You talk about your values. You talk about your perception about everything in your life. What do you really want to do in your life? What's your passion? What is really irritating you? What is that boundary that you'd like to set for yourself and them? and what you expect out of them in your relationship. That is like being an open book. And from that space, you know that whatever happens, whatever life throws now, you can come back and say, oh, remember that discussion? Yeah, this is this. It helps the other person also understand you. But first, you need to understand yourself and then go ahead, have this discussion. It's super important because let me tell you, three-fourths of the fights and arguments and debates that happen in relationships is because of lack of communication. Because either you feel scared of expressing your views, or once again, going into, like, "Oh, okay, I love that person, I don't want to hurt them." But being open and frank is much better because you're standing in your truth. Guys, have you heard about this? That when you get into a room and you're with a partner, friend, whatever, and you're feeling some way, but you're expressing it some other way, that you're feeling dejected, but you're like, no, I'm good, I'm really great today. It's just like, why are you bluffing? Why are you lying? I don't feel it. People can feel and sense emotions. We all have that emotional intelligence within us. So embrace this concept of open communication. And the earlier you set this standard in your relationship, trust me, the better your relationship is going to evolve over time. Which brings me to point number 6, your values align. So, at this very moment, can I ask you, what are the 3 main values that you hold in your life? For me, it's love. For me, it's authenticity. And for me, it's respect. If these 3 values are met, trust me, I love that relationship. But go deep and see what are your values, and then see whether the other person has that value. Because if I hold love so importantly in my life, and the other person is just he's coming from a place of love but is selfish, he only thinks about himself or herself, then for me, love is a two-way street. But for them, it just becomes all about them. That's when my value structure gets destroyed. You have to make sure that your values align for the health of that relationship. Because if your values don't align, eventually you're going to get into a debate or an argument, because now there's a conflict, and that relationship will dissolve itself. And if it doesn't, it'll give you so much more pain and suffering. So your values really need to align. And it can be anything, but you have to be sure as to what's your value, and then what are the values that are coming when you're in a relationship. And this is also super important in business relationships, because a lot of us do businesses and we get into one of a partnership where your thing is all about probably giving the best to the client, being ethical, etc. But the other person's all about, no, I want profit, I want the money, I don't care about what the client thinks, etc., etc. This happens time and again, and this had happened to me at my workplace. That's when I knew that I could not work with that person, and I had been very honest with the management regarding that person, which really decreased my stress levels to, like, I don't know, easily by 80-90%. Because now you're not like, you don't feel that ickiness, that irritation in carrying along with that relationship. So ensure you are in alignment with your values in any relationship. Which brings me to point number 7. They inspire you. In any relationship, if the other party is inspiring you, cheering for you, believing in you, which is so important, trust me, that relationship is something that you should nurture and cherish for life. There are very few people who really believe in everything that you do. Trust me, I've had wacky dreams. I've had dreams of, like, I shifted from my home country to a farm in Australia, and my parents were like, and most of the people were like, what is she doing? And again, no judgment. But there were very few relationships within my circle that believed in me and told me, go for it. We know you're doing this for a reason. We support you. And they inspired me to such extents that I had tears in my eyes. I was crying, knowing that, yes, I can do this. That's your support system, because they'll be encouraging you and cheering for you for your benefit, for your growth, for your positive trajectory in life. And really nurture those relationships, because those are gold. They're like gold for you. Which brings me to point number 8. They respect you. And the other person always has to respect you in any relationship that you hold. And that comes from the space of loving you and that relationship. It means so much to them that they respect not only you, but that relationship, and don't bring their egos in front. And respect is not just in words and language while speaking, it's in actions as well. They show appreciation for you, they honor you and your boundaries. They are fully present with you in any conversation you have with them. They maintain confidentiality within your relationship parameters. That is when you know that the relationship is completely respected by either of the parties, because you do that as well. And you don't bring in the egos in any conflict where you want to be right or the other person wants to be right, but you create that win-win situation where you're like, okay, fine, this was your point, I didn't really understand, why did you say or feel that? And they give you an honest answer, and then you're like, okay, that's great, because I felt hurt that you spoke to me in such a manner. And the other person would just realize that, oh, okay, maybe their tone was different. So now you've not brought your ego in front and said, no, I am right, I need to win this argument. But you've respectfully spoken your truth and told what you felt, and given the space to the other person to share what they feel, and then you dissolve that conflict. Wow. When you don't bring your egos and you love and honor that relationship and the love that you hold for that person so much, then you being on top of it and being right always. Which finally brings me to the last point, point number 9. They want the best for you. Honestly, I love those relationships that bring out the best in me. I mean, sometimes in life, you go through your problems, you go through so many things, and you forget your bigger vision. And it's at that time, even in the smallest days, like, I'm probably so engrossed in work, I'm doing this, that. And then my loved one comes up and they're like, did you have food? Did you nourish yourself? I'm like, oh no, I didn't. You know that person wants the best for you and is taking care of you. They even empower to bring the best out in you. When you're doing something really big in your life, or sometimes, when I'm coming up on YouTube and showing up and I'm like, oh my God, I hope this flows well. I know that my partner comes to me and says, you can do it, because I know you're speaking your truth. Go crush it and come back. And I speak to you guys with my book, always. And come at the end of the video shoot, I go out and I'm like, oh my God, I did it. Because I got that morale boost from my partner saying, you can do it. Because they want the best for you no matter what. And this also is very crucial. Something's coming to me that, at times we end relationships, right? And we end it in a very friendly manner, because you've realized that you and your partner's values don't align, and you want the best for them, and you let go of them. That's when you know that is also another relationship that moved from probably being a partner relationship to a friendly relationship, but you want the best for them, no matter what. They want you to grow, to prosper, to be happy in life, which are these very simple things, but very important things to live a soul-filled, loving life enriching life. So, the number one question that always remind yourself in any relationship, are they bringing the best in me? And are you doing the same for that relationship? So, it's strategy time, bringing all these points together. These points that I've told, do you have it within you? And do you bring it out in any relationship? In every relationship of yours, rather? And does the other person also return it back, reciprocate it? And secondly, do you hold self love for yourself? And does the other person love themselves so that they can love you? Because let me tell you, love is like charity, and you've heard charity begins at home. You need to love yourself in order to share and spread that love in any relationship. Because this translates into having a clear understanding of what they want in their life, where they're heading, and do they hold you as a true partner as much as you hold them as your soulmate. I hope you enjoyed this. We also have a course coming up called The Pillars of Purpose, where we dive deeper into all these concepts and value systems. So if you want to sign up to our waiting list, go ahead. It's in the show notes, it's in the comments. In the end, all I want to say is please don't get dejected or feel lost in love just because of one relationship that ended in a different fashion. That relationship is showing you a lesson that you need to learn. And these signs are really crucial for you to embody first in your life and then go ahead, see for that person who ticks all these check boxes, but may not as well. But it's all a work in progress, right? Trust your instincts. Feel from your heart always. And don't let your mind get bogged down by telling you that no, you're not worthy enough to finding love in your life again. I know I did, and I have not just a beautiful family and loved ones, but a set of people that love me unconditionally. If there was anything that resonated with you, or there's a story that you have within your life that you want to share, go ahead, comment below. I love listening to your stories. I love seeing how did you take these nuggets and implement it in your life, and what was the magic that came forth after that. It's a journey. Be patient, be open and honest to yourself, love yourself, and then see what the other person brings in the relationship, because all of you deserve love, and all of you deserve relationships that love you unconditionally, because you give that love out unconditionally too. I love you. Mwah.